So My Hero Academia Season 3 has officially arrived with Episode 2. Episode 1 was that recap the Studio Bone seems to be doing now with every season, which is perfectly acceptable. I'm not really going to ever talk about them, I don't think, anymore. I did for Season 2, but there really was no point in doing a review last week. But Episode 2 has kicked off this season completely with a brand new arc, which seems to be the training camp arc, and from my knowledge, this should last the first core of this season. And I really enjoy training arcs just in general. I think they're very interesting to see, but it's even more interesting to see a training arc when the characters are already a little established in their kind of like field or whatever it is they're training in. And I really like how this episode functioned. Like, this episode did a lot for not a lot of time, and I actually think it was fairly well paced. I gotta say, I absolutely love how they just throw the characters back into the swing of things, and it's interesting just to see, and it kind of reminds the viewer, because these characters have been gone for about a year now, and it's just nice to see how they are kicking ass and taking names. You know they're gonna struggle this season. You absolutely know that. But it's interesting to get introduced to these two new characters, the Pussycats, and they're something else to say the least. But their abilities, or at least one of their abilities to kind of like summon these monsters, it was interesting to see the characters fight. You see characters like Deku, Todoroki, Bakugo, like they all jump in and they're immediately kicking ass. And it's just nice to see characters like Deku who, you look back at how he was in the first season, in the early stages of Season 2, and him being good at his abilities is still nothing to what he needs to work up towards. And it's nice to see how they're just kicking ass, taking names, and then you have some of the weaker characters using their abilities to work with other people who have a bit stronger. It's nice to see how their powers are back in action. It's pretty much what we've seen in the past, but it's nice to remind the viewer that these are characters who are strong in their own right, but at the same time, they're far from perfect. And I just really enjoy how they animated it, because they didn't really need to go that above and beyond for what they were fighting, but I absolutely love like characters like, you know, our main character Deku, when he's starting to activate One for All and use an ability. I love how they detail that and how they actually really show just how beautiful the series is. I absolutely adore how Studio Bones is handling it. But once they get out of that forest, you know, it's only supposed to take, you know, a few hours. But of course, that was just the time limit for the Pussycats, how long it would take them. And they're already seeing potential among 4 of them, because, you know, these are the people who fought the hero killer. These are the people who have already shown promise outside of school. And then you have the other characters who obviously you would assume by the time this training arc is done, they would be able to be strong heroes in their own right as well. But I like the idea of the training arc this time around, because it's interesting to see characters who are already strong in a way, but they're training past that, because most of the skills that they've obtained over the past couple of seasons, it's been more technical, a bit of stamina here or there, and just mentally. Their actual quirks haven't been expanded upon. And I absolutely love how they kind of show this, where you have Bakugo throw the ball, and he's like, and it looks amazing. It looks like he got 1,400 meters or something like that, and it's pretty much more or less the same as what he got, or it was exactly the same. And I absolutely love that, because it really does convince you, like, because it's really showing you, like, look at these guys kicking ass and taking names, now show us how much you have improved. Bakugo didn't improve at all with his quirk. And I like that, because it really does show you, like, these guys have a long way to go. If this is them impressing us, obviously there's still so much more to do. And then, of course, you also have the League of Heroes and things like that happening around. They're plotting some things, you know, they're going to be crashing this summer camp. But I absolutely love it, because, like, you get the action, but the action also has some purpose. And then you get that more downtime comedic moments. Mineta is still one of my favorite comic relief characters. Usually when you have that spy in the girls bathing scene, it's the most cliche thing ever. But somehow his character can turn the most cliche scene, him climbing a wall, going for the pot of gold in his eyes, and it turns it into something extremely funny. I absolutely love his character for that comic relief. But it's nice to see how this episode functioned to really establish this season, or at least the first core for this new arc. And I think one of my favorite points in the episode is actually something that gets mentioned pretty close to the beginning of the episode, and it's not a very long conversation, but between the teacher as well as the Pussycats there, essentially gets brought up why everything's being accelerated for them. I mean, you look at Season 2, we had students having to fight the hero killer, and then they had to brush it aside as another hero doing it because they legally can't fight, because they're not trained heroes yet. And everything needs to be fully kind of like, you know, foot to the pedal kind of a thing, because they need a temporary license, they need to be able to use their ability in danger if there is a crisis. They need more heroes. There is just too many villains at this point that they need more heroes. And I like that moment, because it does show you like why everything is being accelerated, why they need to do this training camp, why they need to really push these kids so far. And I mean, obviously we know we saw what happened in season 2 with the hero killer and everything like that. The League of Villains is rising up. They are causing trouble. They started causing trouble in season 1, but it's nice to see just that quick moment that it's not very detailed, it's not a long conversation, but it's enough to really show you why they really need to train these kids. And even if only 4 of them, the 4 characters who obviously are already showing a lot of promise, are the ones to be good enough to fight villains and things like that, it's going to at least help balance the playing field, and I really like that. Overall, I think this episode did a lot. It had a lot of comedy, it had fan service, it had action, I really just think it had a little bit of everything for everyone, and I think that's important for establishing your first true episode to your new arc. And I definitely think this is going to be an amazing arc. I've heard nothing but good things. I'm an anime only, and I'm going to stick that way, I think, for My Hero Academia, because it seems like we're getting regular seasons fairly often, so I don't really see the reason I need to jump aboard the manga just yet. But let me know your thoughts. What do you think of episode 2 of season 3 of My Hero Academia? Your favorite moment? Let me know down in that comment section below. And before you leave, smack that like button, share your support. If you do channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.